What's up, y'all? It's Purposely Chaos, y'all. And guess who I got with me? I got my brother-in-law, Marquist. Hey, okay?
Hey.
Marquist, y'all, my brother-in-law with me. This is my little sister's husband, y'all. He more like a brother, okay? So blood couldn't make us any closer. So, y'all see that title. We talking about the heart of a husband. So before we even get started, I need y'all to tell y'all husbands. I need y'all to get y'all brothers, y'all uncles, send this to y'all nephews, whoever. And we're going to talk about the heart of a husband today. I hope y'all excited. We're going to have a good time. We're going to dive in on my brother-in-law's perspective about the heart of a husband. So, bro, I want you to tell the people a little bit about yourself, how long you've been married, and all that good stuff.
Well, my name is Marquist Hayes, the kid, you know. I have been married to Kelsey's beautiful sister, Jalen, for over 8 years now. We've been married since, actually 9 years. Wait.
About 9?
9 years?
Yeah, y'all.
No, we're going on. This is year 9.
Yeah.
This will be year 9. We got married September 16th of 2016. So we've been married 8 years, going on 9 years. We have 2 beautiful children, Kobe and Cody. They are 2 and 3. They are my little rug rats. Yes. So I'm out here by myself. I wanted a boy so bad, but you know, this is where we at, and I'm done. So. I just got to deal with it now.
He say he done, y'all. He say he done, okay?
I'm done.
I think they got one more in. One more. But bro, so just tell me, how did you and Jay meet? Like, how was that? What was that process?
Oh yeah, I just told this story at work like 2 days ago, so it's still fresh. I was telling my coworkers that me and Jalen met at work. We worked at this printing production company called Crown Products. We met there back in 2014 when we met. We both started working there about 2 weeks apart around September of 2013, but we never even knew one another nor saw one another until 2014. I remember I always tell people I heard her before I saw her. If you know my wife, she has a raspy voice. She's a little, her voice is a little elevated, especially when she gets excited. So I heard her before I saw her. And my first instinct was like, man, she need to shut up. I said, whoever that is, they need to shut up. I mean, that was my first reaction. But then I saw her probably a couple days later, and we started interacting. And to this day, I mean, I feel like she was flirting with me, but you know, she may have a different story. But, yeah, she wanted you, boy. So. We just started connecting from there, and here we are, 10 years later. 10 years later.
That's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing. I think Mark being in the family, I don't know. I'm talking about when we have our family gatherings, y'all, I don't even know Mark. You know how you think it's a guest, you know, somebody just an additive over at the house, and you could tell it's a guest there. But Mark, he's just like a brother. You could just tell. It just like he been here all our life. So, bro. Mm-hmm. How has marriage been? And we've been real on the channel, y'all. Mm-hmm. We ain't about no fake stuff, right? Mm-hmm. How has marriage been up to this point for you? What can you say marriage has been like?
What marriage has been like? The first thing come to my mind is like Kev on stage, his little moniker, marriage be hard. Marriage be hard. Yeah. It is. It's work. It is work. It's full of sacrifice. It's full of compromise. It's full of denying yourself. But I believe that we don't look at that aspect of what love is. That is those are very important components of love. I think we think of love, all the sweet, sugary stuff, but not the stuff that really makes it what it is. So it has been all the great things as well. It has been all the great things. It has been all of the Jalen is my absolute best friend. Yes. I love being around her. I love her company. I love her personality. Yes. We make each other laugh all the time. But you have those things that really test your foundation. Yes. And those are the opportunities for you to really show what your foundation is. So our love exudes the most, I would say, in trials and tribulations and controversy and all those things. So yeah, it's definitely sacrifice and all of those things as well.
And that's good. That's good, bro. Can you touch on some of the trials that you guys have experienced and that you guys had to navigate?
A couple of different things. Couple of scenarios that we went through while trying to conceive children was probably the most challenging situations. When we got married in 2016, Jalen got on birth control. It was a 3-year Nexplanon, the thing that they insert into your arm. And so when she got off of that, I think she had the hopes that we would almost immediately get pregnant, and it didn't work out like that. It took about a year before we conceived, and 5.5 weeks into it, we actually experienced a miscarriage. So that was a really trying time because more so Jalen than me, she was very discouraged. So we had to kind of really take that time and reflect on what was really going on at that moment. And it was one of those moments where God was showing us that he was doing it to show us just his greatness, even in that type of moment, even in that type of situation. He was still showing us that how good he is and that he's still God, and how he chose us to even be able to deal with that. So it was really, in the end, although it didn't feel like, it was really an honor that God considered us for that situation. And even after that, we miscarried in July of 2020, and then in September of 2020, my wife got pregnant with our big girl, Kobe. She was born in May of 21. So fast forward to our baby girl, Brooke, our miracle baby. We actually, she was born in February of 2022. And when she was born, she actually coded. It's a situation where no one to this day can tell us what happened while she was in the sac. They just know that she pooped in the sac and ingested a lot of the meconium. But they said that whatever happened caused her to poop. It was something that happened prior to that. And she ended up coding when she came out, and she was in the NICU for 15 days. And the expectation was a very long road to recovery. My wife got a call from the doctor who said, our baby was very sick. It wasn't a very encouraging call at all. So that was a very hard thing for my wife to digest. And it was one of those situations where in that moment we had no choice but to really rely on our faith and our love for one another in the midst of that controversial time in our life. I still remember in the operating room, I told the testimony at church, I still remember it was operating room number 3 at Providence Hospital when my baby came out and the doctor allowed me to see her. And I knew something was wrong because she couldn't breathe. And then at one point when she coded on the table and I heard someone ask where her pulse was, and then the response from someone was, she has no pulse.
Wow.
And in that moment, we just went straight to praying. Me and my wife, she was still laying there. She had a C-section. She was still on the table, and we just went to pray. And in our prayer, all we did was just worship. We just worshiped God. It wasn't a God save my baby. It was just, God, we just want you to come into this room.
Wow.
We just need you to come into this room. So it's one of the situations where it's kind of like when your back's against the wall, what do you do? What else do you do? And it's those times where we really come together the most, and you really see that that we are in agreement. Because that's a big thing on love as well. The Bible says, how can two walk except that they agree? So understanding what our agreement is, understanding how to fight and what to fight and things like that, it really plays a big role as well.
That's so good. That's really, really good. Do you think these situations, these different trials and tribulations brought you and her closer as a couple?
Most definitely. Definitely. When you can go through something, then you come out on the other side of it.
Good.
And you see that through everything, at the end of the day, you guys are still intact. You may have some battle scars, you may have some wounds, you may have, some things lingering, but when you guys are still intact, I think that it really testifies to
That's
the
good.
genuineness of your love. You really
That's
is you're measured by diversity, in my opinion.
That's good. That's
You know,
good.
you're measured by adversity. I'm sorry, you're measured by
Yeah.
adversity, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I think it is when those adverse situations come up, that's when you really see where your love is, if you're genuine or not. You know, when it really gets tried by that fire.
Diversity too. I see what you was going with it. Diversity. Diversity. Just on a lighter note, what's your favorite thing about Jalen?
What's my favorite thing about Jalen? Definitely just our conversations. Because I like to consider myself a big kid. And she's not as childish as I am all the time, but she'll get right there with me. And she's probably the funniest person I know. I thought I was the funniest person I knew, but she is hands down the funniest person I know. So we can joke about any and everything. So my favorite thing would probably just be our conversations.
Awesome.
The conversation that she gives, definitely her personality. She is definitely one-on-one. She's definitely one-on-one.
She is a character. Yeah. She's a character. So as a young boy, let's take it back for a little bit. As a young boy, would you ever picture your life the way it is now, as far as being a husband?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Why you say that?
I always said that. I really didn't start thinking about my future until I probably got into middle school, as far as career-wise, what I wanted to do with my life. And I just wanted to be a seaman based on what I saw from some family members. As far as relationship-wise, I didn't think about that until high school.
Gotcha.
And my thing was, because I wasn't saved, I was just a regular. I always say I was a hood boy. I wasn't just doing a lot of crazy stuff, but you know, I grew up in those type of environments, so that's why I was comfortable in. And I always used to tell myself, I said, hey, my age was 24. I said, when I turn 24, I'm going to get saved. I'm going to get married. I'm going to have kids. All that. 24 was my number. That was my number. And around the time I met Jalen, it was just a lot of things going on. There was a lot of shootings and stuff going around in our area. Young men my age were being killed. I lost a cousin.
Wow.
You know, some people I went to school with, things like that. And I realized in around that time, like, man, it's not a guarantee that you're gonna make it to 24.
Yeah.
You know, that's not even promised, because I always assumed that I would live a long life and, you know, dying in old age and stuff like that. But we know that life nobody knows the day hour. So
nobody.
So in that moment, I realized, like, hey, you need to go ahead and turn your life around now. And really, I gave my life to Christ. I got into a relationship with my wife, all that around the same time. Wow. She's the one who really brought me to Christ. I grew up with the church sometimes, but she's the one that really reintroduced me to Christ.
Wow. That's good. That's really good. What would be your? I'm getting his perspective about everything, y'all, to help y'all fellas, even the ones that are not married. What would be your biggest takeaway now, even in marriage? Like, what would be something you can encourage somebody right now to, like, something that you have to do in marriage? Like, what would be your biggest takeaway so far, being married almost 9 years? What would be your biggest takeaway?
Not only communicate, I know we talked about that, but there's a difference between communication and effective communication.
Ooh.
So I would say communicate effectively. That is something that I struggle with for at least the first half of my marriage, of not communicating effectively, not communicating needs or expectations, or like my wife said, just over communicating. So effective communication and over communication is definitely the keys to success on the day-to-day within your marriage. It can avoid a lot of disappointments, and also creates accountability.
That's good. I think communication is a big thing. I think a lot of us, we miss that. And I always pair communication with comprehension, because I can communicate to you all day, but you got to comprehend what I'm talking about now. If I'm telling you, I need you to take the trash out, I need you to hear that, not just like I'm fussing. I need you to hear and comprehend that I need you to take the trash out. More.
And that's why I say effective communication.
Effective.
Where you're not just talking, but you're getting an understanding.
You got to get an understanding, man. You know how many people communicating and don't hear nothing each other saying? Yeah. We just fussing, going back and back. And so, you know, I know we probably got some guys watching this and like, okay, man, that sound cool and everything, but you know, I ain't ready to let this go. This lifestyle I'm living, I ain't ready to let this go, man. I mean, marriage might not be for me.
Yeah.
So I'm going back to your background. What you said. You said that you ain't even think your life will even end up on this level.
Right. Definitely, it exceeded my expectations, and it and I didn't expect to be at this point, or just at the point of marriage as early as I did. We were 22 when I got married, so I was 22 years old. There were 2 years prior to me even even planning on getting to that point. Not even just marriage itself at 24, but even just a relationship. This is the first serious relationship I had been in.
Wow.
I was very monogamous or polygamous. Which one is
polygamous.
I was very polygamous.
you said polygamy.
I was very polygamous in my younger years. So relationship wasn't anything I was actually looking forward to. I shied away from that. So so yeah, Jalen, she bagged you, boy. She got me.
So it's possible, guys. It's possible. You could be one moment right now you don't feel like you ready, but hey, when God ready for you and that woman come along, hey, your whole life can change.
Yeah.
Remember, the woman carries favor. The woman carries favor, so your whole life can change.
That's good.
For real.
That's good, because that's actually literally what I experienced.
Yeah.
I remember when we would conversate and stuff, and when we exchanged phone numbers and stuff like that, and we were talking things like that. And I remember something shifted my perspective on how my approach would even be with her.
Yeah. That
it wouldn't even be the norm, and it wasn't really. I couldn't put my finger on it, but I knew it was a God thing. Like, I knew it was a intervention type thing. It was like God was showing me that she was my wife.
Wow.
And even before we was in a relationship.
That's good.
Even before we was in a relationship. And this was even before I had a relationship with God, you know.
Wow.
So even just us meeting and communicating, it was like I got that confirmation.
Wow.
Even back then.
Wow. That's good, man. That's good. Even you didn't even really know God on that level that you do now.
Exactly.
But you still had a knowing that she was your wife.
Exactly. Because my thing, that was never my mentality. So even in that moment when the thought came, I said, "Oh, this can't be nothing but God," because I don't think like this.
I don't think like this.
Mark doesn't think like this. So I was like, this can't be nothing but God.
Yeah.
And I took it and I ran with it. I thank God that I did, because I always say I'm fully convinced that if I had not really committed to her, and through all of that, give my life to Christ and give my own relationship with Christ, I fully believe that I wouldn't be here today.
Wow.
Or I would be locked up or something.
You'll be somewhere else.
I'm fully convinced of that.
Yeah.
So I thank God that he sent Jalen. I definitely, like you say, favor is in the woman.
I'm telling you, that woman, she carried a favor. So tell me, don't be scared. Don't be scared of commitment. Don't be scared to, one to date one woman, to try to court one woman. It's okay. It's okay. I know, that's a thing. Gotta have all the bad chicks, this bad. But like I said on the last podcast, that beauty on the outside gonna get old sometime. Now, ain't nothing wrong with being attracted to your person or whatever, but you gotta have a little more than that now. The insides gotta match. Yeah. Because you could have a bad behind chick, they got nothing. If you need prayer, if you suicidal, anything. Yeah. What's she gonna do? You know what I'm saying? So we just got to get to a point where it's more than just the outside, more than just being bad. What else do you have to offer besides being bad? Besides having a little waist and big booty? What else? Yeah. Because as he said, they went through hardships. They went through a time with their daughter and some other things that it took more than that. that one gonna save your finance one gonna save us during them times.
Yeah.
And so we got this thing. You got to need somebody to lean on.
Those situations.
Yeah.
If you don't have that, it's like my father-in-law, her dad said, they're just mannequins.
Mannequins. I mean, you fine, but that's it. You fine.
Nothing on the inside.
That's it. And so we just gotta get to those places. And bro, let me ask you this: what have you learned about yourself?
Oh.
During this time of marriage, during this time of being with someone else?
Oh. I've learned a lot about myself. I really believe that a lot of times, because our spouse is basically, when we become one under the covenant of God, when I look at her, it's basically, at that point, it's a mirror almost in God's eyes. But a lot of times we find ourselves in situations where through disputes or through whatever, and I see myself through my spouse. I see myself through Jayla. And it's not through her in the sense that the similarities, but her being able to expose
That's good.
my deficiencies.
That's good.
Being able to expose the things in me
That's
that I'm lacking in, the areas I need to come up in. She keeps me accountable. She definitely things that I've found out, for one, that I don't know everything.
Come on.
Not only that I can't fix everything. Men, I know that's a big thing for us. We are fixers. That is in our DNA, it's in our nature. But we can't. It's some things we just can't fix. Some things we just can't fix.
Yeah.
I had to come to realization that I am not the head of my household. Christ is the head of my household.
That's good.
So a lot of times I got to go to the head, to the true head, to really be able to resolve some situations, because some things I just can't do.
That's good.
Especially my own strength.
Yeah.
Especially my own strength. So I've learned that about myself, that my attitude can be better a lot of times.
Yeah.
My people consider patience to be a strong suit for me. And I'll be like, nah, my patience can use some work sometimes. Sometimes it's okay, but sometimes I'm like, yeah, my patience they can definitely use a little work.
Yeah.
But yeah, it brings, like I say, it shows you yourself. It shows you yourself if you're willing to see it, if you're willing to listen and be able to receive it and accept it. Because sometimes receiving criticism is hard.
It is.
Sometimes we don't like to hear the truth about ourselves a lot of times, and that's what happens a lot in marriage. Your spouse is there to tell you the truth, and it's just whether you're going to take heed to it and actually, work on those things, or if you're going to be stubborn and rebellious and cause even more problems. So, yeah.
I want to bring this out too, because Mark, I know you're very hands-on with the girls, just as much as Jay is, right?
Yeah.
And so you have a lot of men out there that aren't, they're like, I go to work. That's it.
Right.
You take care of the house.
More traditional.
You more traditional.
Yeah.
You take care of the house.
Yeah.
And I'ma work and bring the money in.
Yeah.
Right? So you and Jay both work.
Yes.
But y'all both share equal. It's like not no generals. It ain't like, okay, you take care of the girls and it's like you do that. So how did you get to that place when you didn't even say a little bit about that? You didn't even have a quote unquote example.
Yeah.
How did you get to that place?
To be honest, a lot of what I tried to take after is what I saw from you guys' parents when I came.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good.
Between that and, I always say that what you experience, what you see, either you're going to turn to it or turn from it. So what I seen growing up was some things that I chose to turn from, because I recognized that it wasn't right. My grandmother was in a relationship where she was fighting, like physically fighting.
Wow.
Some nights I remember being sent to the neighbor's house because her boyfriend at the time he would get drunk and they would fight. And my grandmother, she has 4 kids, and then she was almost like the mom of the neighborhood. So if something happened, everybody came run to her rescue anyway. So it would turn into a big thing, and so I seen that, and I always knew that was not something that I would want to indulge in myself.
Yeah.
Also, my grandma, she worked a lot and things like that. And then her now husband, my granddad, he was on the road driving trucks. So and he would be gone for weeks at a time. So most of the time it was just me and her at home and stuff like that. So yeah, I didn't really have that image as much.
Yeah.
But like I say, just the 2 years in between meeting you guys and me and Jalen getting married, I really studied not only Jalen but you guys' entire family dynamic.
Wow.
Up until that point, so that I believe
good.
that kind of helped out a lot.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I never even knew that.
Yeah.
Because I was wondering, how did you get to that place of like, okay, you didn't even have an example.
Right.
You know how most people use that excuse. Well, I ain't my daddy one now, man. I don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It was one of the things where I didn't know, and I still go through that a lot now. There's a lot of stuff I feel like I don't know how to do, or I don't know what to do, but I know what not to do.
Ooh.
You know, I didn't know what to do, but I knew what didn't work. Exactly. I mean, I know everything that does work, but I'm seeing what doesn't work.
That's good.
So it's like I'm not gonna fall into that same paradigm because I've seen the results of it.
That's good.
You know, so.
That's good. That's good. Because so many times, man, I've seen that so many times by people, and people say they're like, well, you know, my daddy one now, you know, I've been raised on about women, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how to do manly things. I don't know how to, you know, do this. I don't know how to change a tire. Even speak on that, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? You wasn't taught, quote unquote, by your daddy, you know, a lot of manly things that you know now, like even fixing things, or how do you get to that place? Even with if something happened in the house, something breaks, what do you do?
Well, the benefit that I have that, like we talk about, like your dad, Phil. I call him Phil, y'all. So if I say Phil, I'm talking about my father-in-law. That's the acronym for it.
Yeah.
But the benefit that I have that Phil didn't have was YouTube. I mean, I'm just on YouTube. I can follow directions. I mean, I don't know how to fix stuff, but I can follow directions. So if you show me how to do it, I can do it. I feel like I can do anything if I'm taught how to do it. So, and then too, like you going back, like you say, we didn't have nobody to show us this or show us that. I was having a conversation the other day at work with somebody. I said, me personally, I can't keep using that excuse. I'm 31 years old. Like at some point, that excuse is not going to hold any much more weight. You know, at this point, it's just about getting out there and doing it. I think I'm a big believer that the most important thing is effort. More so than failure or success. I think effort is the most important thing. As long as I can put my best foot forward and try my best, I can live with the results.
That's good. That's good because, bro, for real, some people don't even try it. Some people are like, well, I don't know. I don't know how to fix the washer. I ain't gonna do it. I don't know. Call your dad out there.
And that's another thing too, because when we got married, you know, we were working at the same job. I had 2 jobs at the time, you know, and just it was one of them things where we could save $1 any way we can. You know, let's do it. I'd had to fix the washing machine about 3 times before we end up buying.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Exactly. I even had to fix the new one time.
Gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, you know.
And I think that's good though, because I think that's what a woman's heart, you know, it's just a trying man. You know, you gotta know everything, but at least try. You at least try before I call my dad. At least try to go and search it up, look for it or something. A woman likes a trying man. I'm gonna repeat it, fellas. A woman likes a trying man.
I remember even one time, at one point, Jalen was looking at me as stubborn.
Because you didn't want to call.
Yeah, because I didn't want to call Phil.
I don't blame him, man.
But see, my thing was like, let me exhaust all my resources first. Let me try my. If when I run out of ideas, then I'll call him to come in. But I wanted to. But my thing was, I wanted to at least try.
It's beautiful.
So,
that's beautiful. At least try. If we could at least try to see, okay, how does watch need to be? Okay, look at YouTube. Okay, that still ain't making sense. And go through all the options, and then, okay, maybe we need to call somebody else in here to try.
Exactly.
Okay. But for me just to call my dad out because you don't want to go look at it, or you don't want to do, come on now. That's just lazy. A woman likes a trying man. That's the heart of a woman. We like a trying man. At least try it. At least try to fix it. At least try to look at it. At least try to act like you care. You know what I'm saying? You know, so that's what we love. And so, bro, you know, y'all, we had 30 minutes, and I love everything about it.
Oh, really?
Yes. Ain't that crazy?
Yeah.
I'm talking about conversation be good. You hear me? Conversation be tea. So, bro, I want you to look in the camera. We're going to wrap it up, y'all. We're going to wrap it up. But I want you to look in the camera, the green dot, and I want you to encourage a husband. out there that may just feel like his back is against the wall. He feel like he don't know what to do. Marriage is rocky. He don't know what to do. His next steps. Just encourage this man out here and just, give him some wisdom.
Okay. First of all, sir, more than anything that we have talked about, when you talk about a foundation of a marriage, if Christ is not the foundation of your marriage, then your marriage, there is no foundation
There you go.
outside of Christ.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to go back to the one should be at the center of your marriage in
That's
the first
right.
place. We are under covenant. Your marriage is gonna, because we're under covenant, the devil doesn't like that. You're gonna go through attacks. You're gonna go through this and that. It just comes with the territory. You gotta understand that. I think a lot of us misunderstand the expectations of what will happen when we actually become under covenant with God when in our marriage. But there are some things that you're gonna have to deal with. It just comes to territory. It comes to territory of being a Christian. It just comes to that territory. Yeah. But more than anything, you're gonna have to go to a place of prayer. You're gonna have to go to a place of supplication. You're gonna have to really, really, really go to the Father and really pour your heart out, really commune with him and allow him to do the work. And be okay with the process. Some processes are going to look real bad before they get good.
Yeah.
But as long as we're inviting God into our situation, we got to know that we got the greater one on the inside of us.
Yeah.
So as long as he's with us, I'm okay with whatever happens after that. So we have to find ourselves, we have to allow ourselves, we got to give space for peace.
Yeah.
We have to have space for peace, and space for peace is having space for God.
That's good.
So, and again, like, it's one of those things where I don't want to make it sound too cliche or oversimplified, but at the end of the day, seriously, when you really have God in that thing, everything else is automatically going to work out. I don't care how long it takes to come. I don't know how long it takes. I don't care how long it takes to come to pass.
Yep.
You got to understand that as long as God is on your side, no one can be against you, or no thing can be against you and win.
Nothing. I love it. Such a great, thing, because for real though, man, we gotta have God. Like he said, it may sound cliche, but for real, if you don't have God, man, everything is subject to fail. Every single time. I don't care how good it looks on paper, it's subject to fail.
Yeah.
So.
And real quick, I know we gotta go real quick.
No, you good.
I thought about this as well.
You good. Go ahead.
Even just as a side note, men, this is unsolicited, unwarranted. It's just a thought that just crossed my mind. Something that I just realized like last week that I did want to share. We didn't kind of screen into this stuff, but it was something I did want to share while I was on here.
Yeah.
Something I just found out about leadership.
Yeah.
The Bible tells us that, husband, respect your wives and love them like Christ loved the church and how he gave himself for her and stuff like that. And I always thought for the longest that leadership, a big part of leadership was about, even at work, because I'm a manager on my job, it's mainly about delegating and stuff like that. So even in with us husbands, when we're leading our wives, it's not always about do this, do that, do this, do that, but it's more so about being that example. It's about really showing them what it is to what it looks like to submit, what it looks like to, because the Bible also says that not only wives submit to your husband, but the Bible also says submit yourselves one to another.
One to another.
So submission is not really a one-sided thing. And I think a lot of times submission looks like that sacrifice, like I was saying. That's one of those things where, hey, if you're dealing with a wife with an attitude, make sure your attitude is good.
That's good.
Lead by example
really
in those type of things. If you whatever it is that you're looking to see from out of your spouse, you do it.
That's good.
Whatever it is you feel like you're lacking, you do it.
That's good.
I even had to ask myself, even when I find myself frustrated sometimes, with what's going on at home and things like that between myself and Jalen, I even have to check myself because if I'm so focused on what she's not doing, then that means I'm not doing enough.
Oh.
If I'm focused on what she's doing and not doing, that means I'm not doing enough because we are also here to serve one another.
That's good.
So if I'm worried about the ways that she's serving, then there's obviously something wrong with the way that I'm serving as well.
Bars. Okay.
Because if I'm keeping myself busy serving, then I'm not really, I'm not really overly concerned
That's so good.
about what's going on with her and not going on with her. And then again, with me leading by example, whatever it is that she may be doing or not doing, it's going to come up to par just by me
That's
being that example of serving her. It's going to be reciprocated.
Ooh, that's so good. That's so good. And that's dependency on Jesus, y'all, because if we're going to be real, that's hard to do. If somebody got an attitude or somebody not doing, and that takes Jesus, man.
Yeah.
That takes the strength and the joy of the Lord, seriously. To be an example, even when your spouse ain't doing what they supposed to do.
Yeah.
That takes strength. That takes dependency solely on God, for real, because that's not easy.
Yeah.
For real. And so that's why he was saying to have that foundation, because Holy Spirit will check you and be like, hey, I don't care if they ain't doing right, you still need to do right. You still need to do your part. You still don't go in there and not cook because you mad at him today. Like, just stupid stuff, tit for tat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so we got to be submitted unto Christ, seriously.
Yeah.
We really do. You got anything you want to say else, bro, on that? Because I know you got something. I told him.
I'm going to let it breathe.
Look,
I'm going to let it breathe.
Look, I told him, y'all, I said, y'all, I'm going to, because my brother, he kind of like me, we kind of introverted, but when you get us started, like a lawnmower, you get us started.
Right.
I said, I have about 3 parts missing around with him.
I know. We don't want to hold people too
But
long.
nah, for real, I appreciate him gonna come back with me one day, brother, and talk about some other
Just
stuff.
give me the invite.
Yeah, I will. I definitely will. I hope y'all enjoyed this, y'all. Some good stuff. Good topics. Heart of a husband. What that heart at husband? What that heart at? What that mind at? And so y'all already know what to do. Make sure you comment below. Let me know what y'all thought about the video. Make sure y'all that thumbs up for me. Make sure y'all share the video. Make sure y'all tell somebody about Jesus. Show compassion. Show kindness. People need to know about Jesus. People need to see Jesus through us. And y'all already know what to do. Tune in next week. I'm going to have somebody else on for you. We're going to be talking about some juicy stuff. And make sure y'all have a great day in Purpose on Purpose. I love y'all, Purpose fam. Until next time, bye.